Hey everyone, I'm Sly and I'm here with D. And today we're going to talk about how Jake Paul KSI fight would go down. Now D, both these guys have had success in the ring, even though KSI has been out for a while. But who would you get having this fight, man? Like two big guys, big names. Who you got, man?
One, I'm going to state the obvious. I'm rolling with Jake. And I'll be honest, I'm a low key, I'm a big fan of Jake Paul. And, but I just honestly think that he would just murder KSI. He would knock his ass out.
Damn.
And you thought the Tyron Woodley knockout was bad. I think the KSI knockout would be even worse. And I'll give credit to KSI. Listen, he's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest guy. But what I will give him is that he does have heart. And, you know what? He does train hard. And so, for that, I always give him a punching chance, but Jake's at a whole different level. I don't even compare him with the YouTube fighters, because I know, what's really popular right now is, a lot of YouTubers are, putting the rankings, who's the best YouTube fighter?
Yeah. And
then, of course, they have Jake at the top, but I didn't even consider Jake Paul as a YouTuber right now, because he's already out of that realm. This motherfucker is fighting, mixed martial artists, and he's trying to transition to where he could fight a boxer. And none of these YouTubers have done that except for Logan, his brother. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I just think there's two obvious reasons. One, Jake has more experience fighting the better fighters. And then two, he's been doing it more active. Like you said earlier, KSI hasn't fought in 2 years. And his warm-up fight, it's not official, but if he does go against someone like an Alex Wasabi is not even comparable to Jake's weakest opponent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so it's there's different levels. There's levels to this game of boxing. Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of I'll talk about the bad habits for both, and then what I think that how they would the other guys would win. The only way Jake Paul would lose to KSI if Jake Paul underestimates his opponent. If he takes it lightly, doesn't train hard, that's the only way, kind of like Logan. That's why, in my opinion, that's why Logan lost. I know it's controversial with the hit on the knockdown. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, Logan, he took it easy. He thought he was going to, just because he's athletic, he thought he was just going to cakewalk through KSI, and KSI ended up beating him. That's how Jake could lose if he just underestimates his opponent, which I don't think he would do because he hates KSI with a passion. And then KSI, he's got a lot of bad habits. Yes, he was fighting Logan, so he had to do the windmill freaking punches. Yeah. But I was also looking at his other fights with Joe Weller, and even his first fight with the headgear with Logan Paul. He has a lot of bad habits. He keeps his hands down, and when he throws nice and wide like an MMA fighter. And Jake has a lot of experience to where he's gonna counter that, and he's gonna knock him out with that right hand.
Yeah, honestly, I'm with you, man. I think Jake Paul would beat the crap out of KSI if they fight, if and when they fight. I just feel that Jake Paul, even though, like I said, Jake Paul will never become a world champion in boxing because he started so late, but he's got the fundamentals to be a boxer. KSI, man, when he throws those punches, those are freaking windmills, wild ass punches. The only boxer I've ever seen that do those wild ass windmill shots that work, the guy named Marcos Maidana, because he was just a sharpshooter at throwing those freaking wild ass punches out of anywhere. When KSI throws them, man, it looks like he has his eyes closed and he's just freaking going. And that shit, it doesn't work. It doesn't work in boxing. I mean, like I said, that Logan Paul fight. And honestly, I thought Logan Paul, other than that BS call, he probably would have won that fight, And Jake Paul's on a way different level than KSI, and I believe so. I mean, I just feel that it would just be pretty much a dominant performance if and when they fight.
And one thing that I really saw looking at the Joe Weller fight and looking at the Logan Paul fight, KSI doesn't like to get hit.
Yeah.
So when KSI gets hit, he backs up. Mm-hmm. And so with Jake, the difference is Jake, he likes to be the aggressor. And so when he's pushing and coming forward with KSI is going to buckle. And Jake has enough experience to where he could throw combinations, and he's just going to look for that right hand. And you saw like with Woodley, I know it wasn't like the most exciting fight, the second one, but what he was doing was he was just slowly just like chopping down. He was going to the body against Woodley. He was going to the body. And then what happened was when Woodley thought he was going to the body again, he left his freaking face wide open. And that's why it came out with a knockout. It wasn't the cleanest fight, but that's what happens when he was like, you know, Woodley, say what you want about him. The guy does have power. And you can see during that fight, they were both hesitant. But with KSI, it's going to be a different story because KSI is not going to give him that big of a threat as far as like a knockout. He's going to be swinging wild and he gasses out. There's just something about him and Deji where after 2 rounds, these guys are just like gassed out.
Sucking air.
Yeah, sucking air. And then, well, I'll give KSI credit. He has more heart. So like, even though he's tired, he's going to give it everything he's got, unlike his brother. But he just doesn't have that fight experience, and he could train with Vidal Riley all he wants, and he could train, you know, boxing all he wants. But I'm telling you, like, there's levels to this. Jake Paul, like, he's been trained by Mosley. He has BJ Flores, who's his coach. He's trained with the Charlos. He's sparring with also mixed martial artists, pro boxers. Like, I'm telling you, there's levels to this, and he's already built his experience enough to where he's not in that YouTube realm no more.
Yeah, like I said, if you did compare him to other YouTubers, he's probably one of the only YouTubers that actually works the body. Like, he does actually a pretty solid job at working that body, you know? Which I'm like surprised, like, oh shoot, this guy's actually going to the body. You don't see that. A lot of times you don't even see that with regular boxers. Some boxers just go headhunting too, you know? And I mean, like, he's able to do that, go from the body all the way to like head everywhere, all directions. He has a solid piston jab, not a crazy jab, but he has a good solid jab, you know, which it worked, helped out during the Woodley fight. So, I mean, I think there's levels to this, like you said, and
he beat Woodley, Jake Paul. I don't even know if KSI could beat Woodley, to be honest.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Like, and then that's like where you have to like think about it. Like, if KSI was in that same route as Jake Paul, can KSI like do like Showtime? Could he be the top dog? I personally don't think so. You know, and it's not a knock on him. Like, I'm not saying like he's a trash fighter, because he's actually like, out of the YouTubers, I give him like one of the most respect out of all of them. It's just that he's in that realm of the YouTube boxing, and I don't see him coming out of it.
Yeah, and they're saying on Showtime, they announced that today that they expect Jake Paul to be fighting sometimes in the summer of this year, because right now he's actually promoting a fight right now
with Serrano and Katie Taylor,
which is this week. So hopefully after this whole fight this weekend, we'll be able to find out, get a good idea of who the heck is next, because KSI said he wants to fight at the end of the year. So who knows? Will it be Jake Paul? Will it be Wasabi? We don't know right now, but
I'm hoping that he fights soon against Wasabi, and if he's victorious, which he should be, just because he has the size advantage, I want to see him at the end of the year to go against Austin McBroom. I think that'd be a really good fight, because
KSI,
because Austin McBroom has like good speed, and they're both kind of like similar levels. They both have like as far as like one win without headgear. And so they're pretty much like similar levels as far as like skill wise. So I want to see that fight for sure.
Yeah, and it should be interesting to see like how it all plays out, how all these guys, you know, knock each other out, and then we finally have the top dogs. And I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it's McBroom and Jake Paul, the final two at the end. We'll see, guys, but should be interesting. I mean, this fight, even though we both got Jake Paul, I think it would be exciting to see, like, because this trash talk would be so crazy, man. Because both these guys like talking trash. KSI, man, he brings it too. Like, he bashed his own freaking brother. What do you think he's gonna do to Jake Paul? He's gonna freaking go and freaking, I beat your brother too, and I kicked his ass. Like, all this, like, dude, it's gonna be crazy to see what happens, man. But that's what we got, man. Let us know what you guys think. Who you got, man? KSI, Jake Paul. Let us know down below in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe. We'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.